Welcome to Develop, the podcast where we investigate what factors contribute to the successes and failures of artists around the world. I'm your host, Kyle Meeks, and you'll be joining me as I interview my artist friends, mentors, and industry leaders. The mission of the podcast is for all of us, listeners and interviewers alike, to leave these conversations better than when we entered them, all in an effort to strengthen our minds and improve our technique, developing both as artists and individuals. Today we have an amazing videographer who has actually connected me with a bunch of industry like titans and gotten me incredible gigs. So I'm very proud to even know her. I'm proud to be her friend. She's been running her own video production business for about 4 years now, but has been creating videos for over 12 years. So she knows her stuff. Within those years, she's had the opportunity to collaborate with amazing projects, such as a documentary called Kings, Queens, and In-Betweens. She's filmed for the Today Show. She's had a segment on there about the Fat Babes Club of Columbus. And she's also had work featured on the big screen in Times Square for Marzetti. So give a round of applause for our guest today, Anita Kwan.
Yay! Thanks for having me on. I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you so much for being our first guest. I'm really proud to have you here and be talking to you today. Thanks. So tell me a little bit about your first documentary. Like, how did that go?
So I was pretty into the gay bar scene and going to see drag shows and stuff. And just through going, I met some people who were drag kings and became friends with them. And I was just so fascinated around that time on the whole production process of it all, the makeup, the dancing, and everything. So my friend who's a really good drag king, I was like, hey, would it be cool if I could go behind the scenes and just like film how you put your face on and stuff? I just would love to know the process. And she was just like, yeah, like totally.
Really like, quick for the audience members who don't know, and myself included, this is actually the first time I've heard the phrase drag king, so I can put together what it is through context, please.
Okay,
but could you just tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, so drag queens are men dressed up to perform as women, and then for drag kings, it's women dressing up to perform as a man. So cool. They really bring the male illusion with the clothes, the facial hair, and even packing too, which I did not know that was a thing. Yeah, to really bring that illusion to life. So yeah, and because my friend was just so convincing as a man, I was like, how do you do this? And so I got to go backstage, and they would, I mean, they're hardworking people too. They get to the club around like 8, and the show doesn't start till 11 or 12, but because they're like rehearsing and they got to do all the makeup and stuff. So I got to bring my camera in and record her putting on. So that's another crazy thing with the makeup is that they would use their own hair. They would cut clips of their hair and glue it to their face, which
that's genius.
Yeah, which makes sense because you want the hair on your face to match the hair on your head.
Right.
So
that's so crazy.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things I learned from doing that shoot. But yeah, it was cool. So I got the beginning of doing the makeup, and then her putting on the costume, and then to performing. And so after the show, after I got that footage, I did a little highlight clip. It was maybe like a 60-second highlight clip. And in between when I was recording, I did ask some questions like, oh, how long does this take you? Like, how did you get into it and stuff? So I posted it on YouTube, and then she shared it with her friends and family and colleagues. And several months later, she hit me back and was like, hey, some director here in Columbus is doing a film about the drag scene here, and she saw my clip, so I totally just like connected you guys, figure maybe like you could help her out with her documentary since you're getting some like footage here. I was like, like that is really cool. Like, thanks for connecting me. And so so I got connected with this director. Her name's Gabrielle Burton, and she uh, is a mom that was also just fascinated with the drag scene and thought like, wow, like I've never seen this before, especially in Columbus. And she has two kids and really wanted her kids to understand gender, sex, and sexuality, and how they're all three separate things. And when she saw this drag show, it was like, whoa, like this is encompassing all of that.
Okay.
And so she wanted to create this documentary that not only highlighted the drag scene, but also touch on all these really hard topics that's within the LGBTQ community. So so when we talked, I was like, yes, like this is all speaking to me. I think like we need more education around this. We need more awareness and bring out all these issues that are happening. So and she really enjoyed the little highlight piece that I made for my friend. So we
Right.
spent months. We spent, oh gosh, like probably over a year editing this film. So she already like filmed a lot over a course of I want to say a year or so, a couple years, getting footage from so many shows, interviewing over like 15 or 20 drag performers.
That's
So
crazy.
so that's why it took so long to get the edit together, because everything that everyone had to say was just so good too.
That's good.
But yeah.
So
So
where can people find that if they want to go check it out?
that is, I believe, um it's online somewhere, and you might have to pay to watch it. I forgot where, but for a while, the film was touring at a lot of festivals and stuff. So,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So, and it was cool. I got to like speak on the panel for some of it, just to talk about my experience with seeing all the interviews and interacting with some of the people who are in the movie, and the behind the scenes of editing it all together. So
Right.
yeah, but it might be, I would have to check, but
Okay.
yeah,
And we can find the link
you can
and put
find
it
it.
in
Yeah.
put it in the description so people can check it out. So next question is about the Today Show segment. I actually saw this segment when it aired,
Oh, really
and I
nice.
was like, wow, Columbus on the Today Show. This is pretty
Yeah,
cool. And
yeah.
I had no idea. So how did you get connected with that?
Okay, so another great connection here. So I get hired through other video companies to do some work filming, and so this one company I worked for, he was actually the one with the connection with this woman at the Today Show. I think it was his wife's friend, somewhere down the chain,
Okay.
and the producer at the Today Show was specifically looking for a female videographer. And so
Okay.
she must have just put the word out. That got to the wife. The wife got to the guy who hires me. And then he thought of me. So he texted me and was just like, hey, I got this opportunity here. Would you be down to like hear more about it? It's from the Today Show. I was like, yeah, of course. So yeah, through that crazy grapevine, I got connected with the producer, told her a little about myself, and the whole show was all about empowering women and bodies, and
hmm
just celebrating, femaleness. And so I, again, it was like all this aligned with my values, and I was just like, oh, of course, I would like totally be down for this project. I want to create a space where women and bodies can just feel safe. And so the producer was on board and hired me to do to film the show, and it was really great. It really made the work a lot of fun to be able to just do what you love and what you value for the Today Show. And so, but yeah, so for that, I only filmed, but it was cool because the footage was given to another female editor. Like it was just a all female made episode.
That's pretty cool for the whole like through line to be a female production. Like I don't think
Mhm.
you see that a lot.
No, not at all. So that's what I really loved about it. It's just, it was so intentional, and I think it really shows in the work.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What would you say is something that really stood out to you, that you wouldn't see in a production that was just everybody kind of mixed together?
Mm, I think there's just a certain level of communication collaboration that happens
Hmm.
that is just so comfortable. And yeah, and it's just so kind, it's so friendly. Yeah, it's I don't know, more flow, like a good flow,
Okay. Yeah.
if you will. And throughout my whole video production career, I've always worked with men, lots of men. And I mean, it's a male dominated field. And
Yeah. It's kind of a
so,
boys' club. Yeah.
yeah. So it was really refreshing to be just surrounded by a bunch of other women in the field. And it was just, I don't know, it's just a good feeling.
It sounds to me like you're very much a people person. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I very much am. I love people. I love connecting people, and I love getting connected with people.
And so, do you find that you get the best projects from marketing or referrals?
I'd say from referrals. And honestly, I would say 95% of my work are referrals, which is great because that way people sort of know me, and people are more comfortable getting, referring and getting referred anyway. But yeah, I think because the people I'm connected with tend to share the same values, tend to uh, have the same work ethic, similar personality. For me, I like humor, fun, kindness, and authenticity. And the people I'm connected with has some sort of combination of that. And so whenever I get referred to someone for work, they also tend to have those similar things too. So it turns out to be, uh, and it turns out that I can work with stuff I'm proud of.
Right.
Yeah.
That definitely makes sense. What, like, you definitely want to work with the people who are almost extensions of your personality, because then
Right.
you've got that flow, that communication that you were talking about. And especially with filmmaking, it's such a collaborative process. If there's an interruption in that communication, it could be way more difficult than it even has to be.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Totally.
So, what is a project that's coming up that you're pretty excited for?
So, thanks to COVID, yeah, lots of projects got pushed back. In terms of work, I also film a lot of events, and the one event that I was very excited to film was called the Dinah Shore, and this happens in Palm Springs once a year. It's a big lesbian music festival, and I first heard about it when I watched The L Word. Have you ever seen that show?
I haven't. I heard about it, but I was too young when it came out,
Yeah,
and I just
yeah.
never got around to it.
It's
Yeah.
like every lesbian just first coming out.
Mhm. That's
That's
like the
the
initiation.
right. So yeah, there was an episode that highlighted this festival,
Okay.
and I was like, "Damn, I need to like go to this festival. It looks like so much fun." But those are my people. And the thing is, it's just super expensive to fly out there, the hotels, to buy the tickets.
Mm.
But last year, I decided to see if I could kind of sneak my way in with showing my skills to the organizer. Like, hey, I emailed them.
Mhm.
It was my first cold email. I was like, hey, your festival is amazing and it aligns with a lot of my values. I'm going to just repeat values a lot. So, uh, like I'm a female videographer out in Columbus, and I've been wanting to get connected with more women and people in the LGBTQ community and create safe spaces. Uh, and I would love to come out and like help promote your amazing event. And I actually got an email back, and the organizer was like, oh yeah, this sounds great, like hit us back up.
It was that easy.
Yeah, apparently, like I seriously thought I was just like throwing I don't know. I was just throwing it out there and didn't expect anything back because it's a pretty
Yeah.
big event. So after some chit chat, she uh, decided to hire me, and I was very excited for this project. I was like, oh my god, this is like a dream. Like this is what I would love to do,
Wow.
like continue doing. And I thought this was going to be like the portfolio that takes me off and maybe film more festivals out around the country. But thanks COVID for postponing this event. So
Right.
yeah, so it's getting pushed back till September, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But so since a lot of filming has been postponed, for a current project I've been working on is taking things to Instagram and doing a little show called Convos with Queers, kind of like a podcast thing like we're doing now. But
Right.
so I go live on Instagram and I find someone in a professional in the LGBTQ community to talk with me and just kind of shoot the shit, like talk about what's going on, anything they're working on that they want the community to know, or what else? Any advice that they can give during COVID, just to bring back a little bit of normalcy, just to keep the community connected, because with everything shut down, we lost our space to go out. Bars and clubs are kind of the place to go for the LGBT community to connect and
Right.
stuff. So I just wanted to make sure that we stay connected, that we all still are here and we care for each other, and just to like talk and
Yeah.
you know, just be people. Yeah, so I've been doing that about once a week, and so far I've had a drag king, my friend who I first filmed at one time. I've had a paper maker, a comedian, an eyebrow guru, just people all over the board.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds like you really make opportunities, like you identify and then create the opportunities that don't necessarily always exist, but you see the need for it and then you take action. Like when you just did that cold call, that cold email
Mm-hmm.
to the concert, and also when you created combos with queers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we can get into the darkroom portion. I really want to provide a portion of every episode where people can learn a little bit about our guest, learn a little bit about themselves, get introspective, and figure out how to develop in times that might be the easiest. And so, do you feel like that ability to create opportunities was a factor in your story?
Totally. So, if yeah, going back to working with a lot of men back in my day, there was definitely always this itch and this need of wanting to collaborate more with people like me. So I am a female, I'm Asian, and I'm also a lesbian. There's not a whole lot of us out there that, yeah, that are in this field. Or maybe we are, and I just haven't found them. But at my last several jobs, I always worked for a man, and it wasn't bad. I definitely learned a lot. They were great. It just, again, is a whole different field between working with a bunch of men, a bunch of women. But so at my last job, I thought I was going to be there for a really long time. It was a great job. It was located in the short north, or like downtown area of Columbus. So
Okay.
we got to be kind of in the smack middle of where all the cool stuff's happening. Got to hang out and do happy hour, and we also worked in a co-working space where we just met a lot of people within the community, and got to do a lot of cool projects too. And it felt like I was just in the know of what was going on in the city all the time. So I really enjoyed all of that. And I got to both do the filming and editing. So it was just like, this job is awesome. Like I get to do all the things, and I was learning a lot. And my boss was really great and stuff at the time. Were super supportive, was transparent for the most part about what was happening. until he wasn't. So
Dang.
so I got laid off without any notice. It was on
No.
the spot. It was pretty shitty.
Oh
So
my God.
yeah, he took me out for lunch, and I thought it was a normal lunch, and I was like, okay, cool, we get to catch up and talk. But
Wow.
turns out he was just like, today's your last day.
What?
Yeah, and I was really shocked. My body went into, like, I've never felt this with my body before, where it just kind of was frozen but shaking at the same time.
Hmm.
And so I try to like really stay cool during the whole lunch. He's like, if you can go, you can, which I was like, no, let me eat this lunch before I go.
Right.
At least give me that. No. So
He didn't
yeah.
even wait for you guys to finish eating. He just told you in the
No,
middle
it told
of
me
the
before
meal.
the food came.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so that
crazy.
really shook me, especially, again, I thought I was going to be there for a really long time. And I was there for about 2 years or so, almost 3. And yeah, I went home that day crying, drank a bottle of wine. But going back to staying connected with people, I decided to email a lot of old clients that I worked with, because I just enjoy them as people in general. And then if they ever wanted to just reach out to me, either just to, I don't know, talk, connect for work. I didn't even say I got laid off. I just said, hey, I've moved on. Here's my new email if you'd like to grab coffee just to catch up. Like, here I am. And I feel so grateful for all those who have responded and got coffee with me. And it kind of started that cycle again of getting referrals and connecting me with other people and stuff. So that's why I say a lot of my work comes from referrals, not a whole lot of marketing. And I mean, even if you look at my social medias and stuff, I don't have that much marketing of myself on there, because I've just been so busy hustling and working and stuff
Busy
like
making that money.
that. Yeah, busy trying to stay afloat and all that. So but yeah, so, and now here we are about 4 years later. I've been on my own, and it's been really great. I'm very grateful for all the people who have stuck with me.
That's pretty incredible. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for like taking time to come on here. I appreciate everything that you shared. What is one thing that you'd like the audience to know about you, or about the industry? If they're trying to get into video, what's like one golden tip you have?
Ooh, one golden tip: just do it. I mean, and this is gonna sound goofy, but if you want to start somewhere, try out TikTok, because it's kind of like an app that has everything. Uh, it has the music, it has the effects, and it's nice because it just limits you to 60 seconds. It's a nice way to kind of bust into what the video process is like. And so it's kind of a nice intro to what my world is like too, because I spend hours and hours on the computer editing, and but here on your phone, you just get to do it all on there. It's very accessible. But outside of TikTok, don't be afraid to reach out to people you follow, or if you like someone's work, just say like, hey, I really enjoy your work. Would you mind giving me some advice or some tips? I'm totally open to giving people advice and stories and my experiences, and share those. So don't be afraid to reach out. Just like that cold email, you never know what you're gonna get.
Exactly. Now, where can people find you? Where can people send those DMs?
Oh yeah, so I'm probably most active on my Instagram, which is ReelHoot, RELHOOT. So film like a film reel, and then hoot like an owl.
Well, thanks again. I really appreciate you taking the time to be on the show, and we would love to have you back.
Thank you, Kyle. Totally, I would love that too.
And there you have it, the first episode of Develop.
Before we go, let's recap a couple of quick lessons from today's episode. The first of which being know thyself. In order to develop your business, your craft, or even your personal life, you really need to know where you're starting out. And one of the best ways is through introspection. Knowing who you are, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, where do you want to go? Learning these things will give you a greater understanding of your values, which leads me to lesson 2, finding your tribe. Once you understand what you value, you can recognize it in others. As best you can, try to curate your community. Seek out environments and individuals who share your values. Before you know it, you won't have to take just any job that comes your way, but you'll be able to choose and collaborate on projects with people you really enjoy hanging around. And you'll be making projects that you genuinely believe in and support because they're in alignment with the messages and values you hold dear. Lastly, I just want to note how, by knowing herself and engaging with her tribe, Anita was able to create her own opportunities through cold calls and DMs. Now, I do want to caution you to DM responsibly, but it's encouraging to know that someone doesn't even necessarily have to know you if they know what you stand for. When your values are aligned with your mission, people recognize that. And if they have similar values, they will jump at the opportunity to work with you. Thank you so much for listening. And if you found any of this information helpful, please be sure to subscribe and leave a review. I'd really appreciate it. And remember, it's never too late to develop.